Hey, Judy from Witchpeace Craft. Welcome to this week's video. A little late, I think, but that's the way it goes. Today is Saturday, and it's my first Monday, this Monday, that I don't work. I am now starting my 4-day week, which is great. I've got so many plans, I'll probably be exhausted by Tuesday. Anyway, today is what's in my bag. Yes, what is in my bag? Little bits and pieces I have made during September that don't really fit into anything special. And there's an acquisition, an unexpected acquisition. So let's get started. I went into Spotlight Thursday, because they had a VIP 30% off day, but I basically wasn't really looking for anything other than I needed some jump rings because I want to add some charms to some things I'm making. So I went in to get the jump rings and I thought, oh, I'll have a quick look around, and I noticed that one of the staff was marking the blankie yarn down. I thought, oh, I'll have a look what it is. I went over, there wasn't a lot on the table, but it was some of the new colours. The Motivera blankie yarn, 300 grams, 150 meters, 100% polyester, which I do like to use for plushies. Normally $18 a ball. Guess what I got it for? Because I wasn't going to buy yarn. On special for $6 a ball. So I bought one in every colour. She was marking down the red, which is ruby red, was marked down. The periwinkle blue. They're all quite good colours. I don't know why they're being marked down to $6 unless they're going to discontinue them, which will be disappointing. This one is Teddy. I like this one for my pickles that I like to make. This is Santana. And then I think this is eggplant. So I bought 6 balls, because one of each colour, that was on special for $6 a ball. There wasn't a lot there, and I could have bought them all, but I didn't want to be greedy. I did want to leave some for someone else. And I figured I'd hit a pretty good special to get all 6 colours for $6 a ball. Such a bargain. That's how they get you, with the bargain markdowns. But I will use this for plushies, especially as I am investigating doing other markets. So that was my acquisition in the bag. What else is in my little polar bear bag? Let's have a look. First one out, I made a yip yip, and I thought, well, they do hang up nicely on my stall, and the first one always sells, and I made a second one. I did say I was making a second one. I put his eyes on. He's got his little antenna. So that was in my bag. I finished that off, a second yip yip that I'm going to hang it's indoors, but I take the framework of my marquee and I hang things from it. That's just so I get noticed instead of just being a row of tables all looking the same. And yip yips is something I will be hanging from it. So that was project number 1. That is made in the blankie eggplant yarn. It does take nearly a full ball for a yip yip, so that's a bargain. What else have I got in here? Where do I start? Geez. So I've been watching Katie's Celestial Homebody. I really like watching her very long market video that went over 2 days. They're a fun young couple to watch, her and her hubby. And I noticed on her channel when I was checking it out, and she did talk about them, she talked about gummy worms, and she had a tutorial for gummy worms, and that she uses these bendy curler things to do her gummy worms round. And I thought, I have a packet of those in my drawer that I'll never use. So she recommends you glue down the top, which Thing did for me. And so far, I have made 3. He looks a bit shocked with his eyes. Not great with the faces. gummy worms in varying colors, and especially like scrap colors that are left. So I have 3 gummy worms, and I have 2 more I can do, and I'm going to put those either in a mystery bag or in a really cheap price on my stall, just because it's scrap yarn. And these were just sitting in a drawer in a packet unopened. I can't even remember why I bought them, but there we go. 3 gummy worms I've never made before. It's a great tutorial. It's a great way to use little bits of scraps, because you can put any colors together and you can do cuter faces than I have. So what else have we got? Well, like I said, I like the green, this green, better than this green for my pickles. And I did make a pickle, this pickle here, because these do sell for me. I mean, I don't put a very big price on them. I usually put $8 or $10. I haven't decided, because these ones are turning out a bit bigger. But I made a pickle. The things in my bag are when I do little projects on my lunch hour at work, or in the morning when I can't sleep and I get up early. They're usually just little things I've been doing. So during September, Random Acts of Kindness was smiley balls. And I made some little ones, but my first attempt I followed, it's an Anastasia tutorial. All the links to patterns and everything, tutorials, channels mentioned in the description below for you guys to check out. The first one I made to her tutorial was this smiley ball, which is more of a bag buddy. He turned out a bit big because my keyrings are a bit smaller, but he is a 4-weight scrap yarn. So then I thought, and I have got a lot of artificial eyes that I've decided I will start using up on different things, like things for older kids. But yeah, so I made this one and thought, well, that'll have to be a bag buddy. And then I experimented. I went to a 8-ply 3-weight yarn, scrap yarn, and I used a 2.75 millimeter crochet hook, and I got them just to the right size. And I did take a photo. I think I sent it to Rose today for Random Acts of Kindness. And I made 4. I left the 4 of them in the library in the kids' book section, because I thought they were really cute little things for kids to find. So that's one little thing I did. So the other thing is, yes, I found some navy blue sparkly yarn, so enough to do a scrunchie in my way. It's just my free-handed way. It's just a little scrunchie. And then it came up on my feed. It was by The Passionate Crafter, and it was a beaded scrunchie, and I thought I'd give it a go. And I made it in this. I have a lot of these pony beads. I thought, well, I'll use that up. It's quite like full in the way it turned out, and I do plan to make some more. But this is 4-weight yarn, and I think I'd do them in a 3-weight, even though they recommend 4-weight for pony beads. But we'll see. But I did do a beaded scrunchie, because I do sell scrunchies, and they're a quick little project when I don't want to really think about what I'm doing. So the other thing I'm doing for my market stall, which I do sell, is I buy like little balls. They're actually pet balls because they're quite soft. I take the squeaker out and I crochet over them, and I made an F-bomb, which has always proved to be popular. So I've made an F-bomb. The other most popular one, of course, is the poker ball. I may make some more of these, but I made 2 stress balls. Ta-da! Actually, kids like to buy them for their dad. I know for Christmas last year, kids were going, oh, that's a great present for dad. So yeah, and I don't put a big price on them. The balls I buy, these little pet balls that really aren't really good for pets, for dogs, are like $2 from a Silly Solly's department store. Now, the other thing that was recommended to me by a friend, this one has turned out quite big, was in this town there is a special shop for gamers where they go and play games like Dungeons and Dragons and those sorts of games. And she said it's really hard to get handmade dice bags. There's lots of like mass-produced ones, but she said, why don't you crochet a dragon type dice bag? So I found this pattern and I made this dice bag, which is huge. I did it to the pattern exactly. I used Cairns cake leftovers, and that was the idea. I would use leftovers. I did color control it a bit, but this is a dice bag I made that's huge. And she did say some people like them big, but then I'm going to try and make a small and a medium one in different colors. But yeah, apparently dice bags are a big thing and hard to get here. So hopefully I'll sell those. So I made one of those so far. Now I have been, yet again, clearing out, sorting out. I have a lot of acrylic yarn, especially in 3-weight. And I do know that the ladies at the charities like to crochet with that. So I have been going through those tubs and saying, you know, no, I don't want that. That can go. I'll keep this one. And trying to reduce some of the yarn stock that I have because it's huge. And the other thing was I have a basket where I do, like if I make little projects at home, it gets thrown in this basket that I've got in my craft corner, and I might make something or start something, put it in there, and then I forget and things get piled on top of it. And the other day I thought, well, I better clean that out because there's yarn in there. And I found a couple of things and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. So when we did hearts for random acts of kindness, I tried a couple of different patterns and see, they turned out like different sizes big. I had these 2 hearts in that bag. So what I did, I crocheted them together and put a little handle, and it's going to be like a little gift bag you could use to give a present to someone, and hopefully I'll be able to sell that really, really cheap. Like at the November market, there are a lot of like young high school kids, say let's say 10, 11, 12, looking for little gifts for their friends that aren't expensive. And that's why I'm making some scrunchies, some gifts that they can give to their friends that they will like. And I think that'll be one of the ones someone will like. So I did that with the 2 hearts. They were just sitting there. I think I must have experimented. Thought, first one, too big. Second one, still too big for what I wanted it. And in the end, I've decided I'll crochet around in white and put them together. This is all Red Heart Super Saver. The other thing was I found a turtle shell. I must have thought I'll make a little turtle. I only made the shell and that was it. So that was the shell that was in the basket, and I finished it off. I made a little turtle, a plushy turtle. So that was yarn. I have no idea what it is. I found it at a thrift store, 400-gram bag of it, unopened. I'm nearly at the end of it, and the last bit of it I'll probably give away because I'm sick of looking at it. And unfortunately, this is that, for those in Australia who know, that polar yarn that Spotlight brought out once and it disappeared quick because it is terrible at shredding. You cannot sew with it. And yes, it's all right for a little plushie. He'll be a cheap little plushy turtle for someone on my store. Because I've decided, I don't know if I'll do mystery bags, but I definitely will have like, and probably I picked it up from Kate, Celestial Homebody. I'll have, she calls it a misfits bin. So I might have monsters and misfits on clearance because I do have a lot of little monsters. And then people can just go to that and I'll mark them down really cheap just so I can move some stock along because I have so much. But it turned out really well. This is a tutorial by Ella at No Catchy Name. It's the one I use. There are lots of turtle patterns out there, but this is the one I like. I've always liked Ella's tutorial. Yes, he's a long neck turtle. So that is all that is in my bag for September. And you're probably thinking, September's not over yet. Well, as far as what goes in that bag for me, it is. Because in October, I want to do a make-along. Just a mini make-along that you can all join in with me. And I'll probably launch that on the 1st of October. Maybe I don't know, what's today, the 26th. Maybe just before it. And it's just something to have some fun with. And you can make lots of little things which are going to end up in that bag. So come back and join me for an October make-along. I haven't done one for a while. I hope you like all the things I've shown you. Let me know which was your favorite. I really do like making the gummy worms. I can make them up in half an hour. So quick. It's such a good lunch break project. That's why I've got 2 for next week. I won't make a heap of them. I'll make the 5 and then I'll see how they sell. And if they all sell at the market, then we will see if I make more, especially if I can get these things. Right now, I put in yesterday, and I know it's only 2 weeks away, there's a Halloween local community market that's sprung up. And I put in saying that I'd be interested in a stall if one was available. It's only a small market. And that's mainly because in my tidy up, I realize I have so much inventory. I need to move some things along. And I thought, well, being a local market and that there is quite a low socioeconomic area in this area, and I thought, well, I'll just take down some things I think people can afford, like, and keep them at a reasonable price, because it's a Halloween market based at the kids, and we don't generally do Halloween. So I thought I might make a few Halloween things, but yeah, like have some really reasonable price things like these that kids can come along and get, as long with a few other things for parents. But yeah, it was interesting in September. I don't know. I sort of wandered from stress balls to gummy worms to dice bags. I was all over the place. But that's why I have the bag. Because this is the things I used to make, little things and leave them lying around and forget I had them. So now they're rounded up in my bag and I can show you what I've made. And wasn't, for those in Australia, $6 a ball, a bargain. All I can think is they were making room. We don't have a huge yarn area, and they're making room for a new blanket yarn that they want to put there. I'm thinking it might be a variegated blanket yarn because we don't have anything like that. But let me know if your spotlight put it out for $6 a ball, and was it the same colors? Or was it a fact that these colors aren't selling, which really surprised me because it's a gorgeous red. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for me for today. I'm going to have 3. I've taken over the lounge room, the dining room, and I've said to the boys, I'm taking over for 3 days while I go through everything. And I'll let you know if I do the October market. It is an outside market. And I used to do the beach markets all the time before we had the terrible flooding in 23, which has stopped those. And I think this is their way of trying to get the markets off the ground, a little community market around the community centre. So it'd be nice to support them. And even, I don't expect to make a lot of money. If anything, I might be lucky to recover my costs. But at least I'm supporting my local community if I get a stall, because I imagine they'll be in demand. Anyway, guys, until next time, stay safe, stay well, and have a go at making a gummy worm. Great way to use up scraps. Bye for now.